So today we're in a 1982 Mercedes-Benz W123 200 automatic, and it's quite nice because we haven't done a test on a 200 automatic. We've done a 200 manual a few weeks ago on the channel, and yeah, it's nice to have an automatic as well. Yeah, nice car. This particular car, see, it's done just under 210,000 k's. The odometer still works, which is a good sign. It has a few cracks on the dash. Yeah, very common problem with 123s. Us in Old Berg Guy do remanufacture dashes to order, which we export around the world. So if you have a 123 or any other old Mercedes with a cracked dash, you're welcome to get hold of me, and I'll be able to sort you out with that. As I was saying in the walk around portion of this video, and you can see it quite nicely in this light. I don't know if it'll show up in the camera, but this is actually one of those dashes that are brown, and it's a very dark chocolate brown. And it's only for a couple of years that it's had that, and this is one of them. And you can see, I don't know if it'll show up in the light, but definitely a brown dash. But yeah, getting back to the car itself. It's got a 722.4 4-speed automatic box. These and most old Mercedes always pull away in second gear, unless you specifically put it down here. So you shift it out and drive down to low, and then pull away and pull away in first. Or alternatively, when you're pulling away, you floor it. Little button behind the accelerator. If you push that, it'll pull away in first. But in the standard course of driving and stuff, you're always pulling away in second, and it's third and fourth, and it's just it's more than adequate. You don't really need to push on. Speaking about the 200 automatic, I was reading through a car test that they did in 1981, I think in December or November 1981, and they tested the top speed on this to be 154 kilometers an hour, and acceleration 0 to 100 around 17 seconds. So certainly not a fast car at all, but it's a very drivable car, and I think that's really the thing with the 200. If you look at the figures now, it's not fast, it's a slow car, but the way that the performance is delivered is very usable. So you don't need to cane it, you don't need to rev it constantly to get access to the kilowatts and newton meters that are there. It's very trackable from very low down in the rev range. This doesn't have a rev counter, so I can't show you exactly what it's doing. But like up here, it pulls very easily up the slight incline here. Just take a quick walk around this 1982 W123 200 automatic that we're taking for a drive today. Very little to distinguish it from all the other 123s. Here in South Africa, previously mentioned in other videos, we had these lights with the round elements right up until production ended here in 1986 on all the 4-cylinder diesel models. The 280E had the Euro-style lights, but all the rest had these. And you can also tell this is an earlier 123, a pre-82, by these grills being silver as opposed to black. So from the end of 82 on, they were black here in South Africa. The bunts, these alloys, Mexican hats, bunts, MB1, whatever you want to call them, they were an option across the range. So the car came with the steel hubcaps, the Mercedes hubcaps, and you had the option of putting these on. So you can't differentiate it at all from any of the others by just looking at it, other than the badge, really. Here in South Africa as well, they only standardized the left mirror from late 83 onwards. So basically all the 84, 85, 86 models would have the left mirror. Prior to that, it was an option. So a dealer option if you ordered it from the showroom. When you collected the car, you'd get a manual one, manually adjustable left mirror. And if you ordered it when ordering the car from the factory, it would be electric. So that's how that worked. They all came with the vacuum central locking, certainly from 1981 on when the M102 was launched. Prior to that, no. But certainly from there, they did have. And that's really the beauty of them. I mean, the look, regardless of your engine size, regardless of whatever it is, they all look the same from the outside. Let's go and have a seat inside and we can look around. inside here. So just looking around on the inside of this 123, yeah, it's got the Becker. This one I believe is still working, the aerial as well. A lot of these old Hirschman aerials that came in these cars have failed, and you unfortunately can't get parts for it. But this Europa does work. It was the standard radio for 81, 82 models, 123s. And this particular car is aircon as well, which is over here. The other difference between these and this is sort of the first facelift where they moved away from the M115 engine and put in the M102. And there was a little bit of a time period around 81, 82 where it came with a brown dash. I don't know if this is actually brown, a very, very dark brown. I think it is. Could it be?
Could be.
But if not, you can see as well it doesn't have the wood trim. The wood trim was standardized from the end of 83 onwards, together with the left mirror. And also you got the rev counter. And the other way of distinguishing a very early 123 from the later ones is the cluster. So if you have a look at the cluster, obviously you don't have the rev counter, but you also have these little silver center covers. The later ones didn't have that. The later ones from 83 on had a little black cover there and with the rev counter. We didn't ever get ABS in them here, but they do have the 4 discs. If they've got electric windows, that would be over here on the center console. This is also another thing that changed. In 1980, early 81 was the hazard switch. They moved from a very big hazard switch to a small one. Looking at the engine now, it's a M102, M102 9, as I look here, 920, yeah, M102 920, which is the 2-liter carb version of this engine. The M102, of course, came out in the W123 in around 1981 and replaced the M115 engine. It was a carryover from the W115 in the old 234. Anyway, the M102 came out, was a lot lighter, was a lot more efficient than the M115. And this was the first of the M102s, came in the 123s. And obviously, from here, they carried on in W201s and 124s and Gelandewagens and a variety of other different applications as well. This one here, in this 200 model, is with a Stromberg 175 CD carb. I actually love the 200 carb version. You know, it's that much simpler than the 230E in that you don't have fuel injection. These carbs are very robust. I mean, it's 40 years old, it's still running, and you know, eventually the diaphragm inside will start to leak, but it's relatively easy to maintain and to keep them in good working order. And has a mechanical fuel pump down here as opposed to the electric ones on the fuel injected models. So you don't have a fuel pump relay, you don't have an electric fuel pump. You've got a carb, you've got a mechanical fuel pump, and you've got the electronic ignition over here. Beyond that, nothing. There's no ECU, there's no engine management, there's no limp mode, there's nothing like that. So a really nice engine they put out in this application with a carb. 80 kilowatts at around 5,200 revs and about 170 newton meters of torque at around 3,200 if I remember correctly. A lot of space to work on here, and yeah, just simple and robust. One big thing I've noticed with this, with these engines over time, is that if the guys aren't running coolant in it, the heads corrode. And that's possibly the biggest weakness of an M102. If it's just water inside there, eventually the head corrodes and water starts getting into the combustion chambers. And we get a lot of calls in the old Merca spares business for these heads for exactly that reason. Simple workaround is just keeping antifreeze in the cooling system and it's not going to corrode. But yeah, that's probably the biggest problem with them. Other than that, Change the timing belt every 200,000 k's, and you sort it. You sort it, and the oil frequently as well. Every 10,000 k's, you often find there's an oil feeder line that goes along the top of this, and it supplies oil to the lobes of the camshaft. And if the oil isn't changed frequently, that starts blocking up those little channels where it sprays onto, and you'll find that the camshaft lobes start squaring off. Very common problem with them as well. And I've seen them where it's actually a square like this, the lobe, and it still runs, tick, 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 but it still runs, starts and runs. But that's maybe the biggest problem with them. Other than that, very robust engines. And yeah, it's just, it feels as nice as any other nice old W123. And it's a very windy day, couple of very windy days here. It's been absolutely freezing, and it's pumping the wind again today. You don't notice them in these cars. There's a bit of wind noise, but not a hell of a lot. Very well insulated here. I mean, you can see the bushes. We're going to open up here. Probably going to aid acceleration quite significantly as we get onto CB Road. So I'll pull away. I'm not kicking down. That's not the intention. I'm just pulling away without forcing it to hold the gears and stuff. Just as you would in normal driving. There we go. It's into fourth. And that's 100. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a frantic pull away. I wasn't redlining it. I wasn't trying to do that. I didn't kick it down. I just wanted to get it up to speed. And you'd certainly keep up with traffic doing it that way. Let me get it up to 120, which is there. And, man, it feels nice. It feels nice at the speed. Once we go over the cusp of this hill here, get it down to 80, and then let's see how it goes from 80 to 120. But you can certainly do, cruising along here at 120, you certainly feel like you can do it all day. I see it also has cruise control. It was standard in automatics, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly in the later automatics. And optional on the manuals. Okay, so here we go. Let's get it down to 80. See any cars behind us? Okay, no cars behind us. Okay, so now we're doing 80. I'll try and kick down, see what it does. Let's see. Okay, no kick down there. 100. 110. 120. Okay, so it's very usable. You can certainly overtake with that, and that was without kicking down. I'm sure we can force it to kick down by doing this. Let me do that. It gives you an idea of the difference. Get it down to 80. Put it in third. There we go. Okay, let's go. We know it. It's not a hell of a lot faster. I think we just leave it and drive. And that's really the thing with the 200. It makes very little difference revving it. All the power is low down. The power that is there is low down in the rev range. And yeah, revving it's pointless endeavor. It really is. Just getting back to it and, sitting in here, and you could be sitting in any other 123. The difference, the only way you can really identify it from inside here, other than how much it's you being pushed back in your seat, is the speedometer. So these 4 cylinders, the 200 and the 230E, has a 200 kilometer an hour speedometer. The 300D has a 180 kilometer an hour speedometer. The 240D has a 160 kilometer an hour speedometer, as does the 200D. And the 280E has a 220 kilometer an hour speedometer. That's the only way you can tell. Other than that, they're all the same. Same radio, same aircon system, same dashboard, same option with wood, same options with electric windows. You had the option of leather as well. This car doesn't have that. It's got MB text, and I actually prefer the MB text. I mean, if you look at the condition of this MB text, I mean, these are, 42-year-old seats, and they're in excellent condition. There's no issue at all with them. Had there been leather, there would be some cracks and stuff like that. So the MB text has really stood the test of time, and really, really good. But yeah, all 123s, no matter which one you're in, going to feel exactly the same as this, and that's the beauty of them. You could buy a bottom of the range, and unless you looked at the badge, or you're a real anorak and you knew about the speedometer thing, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Really beautiful. Bells, have you driven a 200 automatic before?
No, only manual.
Only manual, eh?
Yeah. I had the 230e autos.
Yeah. Which 123s haven't you driven? I think this was one of the last ones, eh?
I haven't driven a 250.
A 250?
Yeah.
Okay. And a 240D automatic?
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah, I think you have, yeah.
Wasn't the camper...
That's it? Yeah, it was.
Wasn't nice.
Well, it was, it required a degree of patience, yeah. But I mean, as an everyday car, you don't really need more than what this offers, if you think about it. A 200 automatic. I mean, it's certainly not a fast car,
Yeah.
but you feel as comfortable and refined as you would in any other 123. And it's fast enough.
Yeah, it is. Nice car for everyday use.
Yeah. The interior in this car is actually really nice.
Yeah, it
I was
is.
looking at the seats, the armrest as well. I love these things, these little covers. Back in the day, you used to be able to go to Mercedes and just order these little things, and you get a bag for next to nothing. And now they're virtually impossible to find. And the problem is, if they're not there, that little cover, then you see the screw, and it really stands out. So yeah, that's one thing about them. So W123 200 automatic, your next car. Gonna sell you a 240D.
But it's a nice car.
It is nice.
Yeah.
And just, going back to Car Magazine, the test there, they did the test, and they said that it used about 11.5 litres 100 Ks in a mixture of open road and town. Yeah, I would guess that's a good estimate. Realistically, 12, maybe 13 litres per 100 Ks. For an automatic, quite a heavy car, these 2 litres, and not particularly powerful. It's really what you're going to get. If you're on the open road, it's going to come down to around 10, I would guess, somewhere around there, if you don't go too fast. But certainly very usable, very nice car, and if you're looking for a simple automatic W123, I guess the 200 would be about as good as it gets. As I say, you don't have that fuel injection system, you don't have fuel pump relays, you don't have electric fuel pumps, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a good thing. Nice car. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy these sort of videos, please subscribe to the channel. There's lots more coming, and any suggestions are welcome.